Let's speak to Eric Lyman, a Rome-based journalist who joins us now from Corba in Tunisia. Eric, good to have you with us. So Italy's saying there's been something like a 300% increase in the number of migrants coming across the Mediterranean from countries like Tunisia, where you are now. Why are more and more people risking their lives this way?
Well, there's a combination of factors. There are issues related to conflict in the world. Climate change is making it harder to farm, things like that. The food prices are on the rise. There are trade issues going on thanks to the war in Ukraine. But that's all. I'm sorry. That's all in addition to the standard problems of poverty and conflict and so on. But what is astonishing about this, I think, coming from an Italian perspective, is that this is all happening under the auspices of a government that has a lot of anti-migrant elements in it, and that's why I think we've seen the state of emergency in addition to the high numbers.
Yeah, right. And the Italian government has announced this state of emergency for the next 6 months. That's going to enable it to tap into federal funding. What's it going to be using this money for?
Well, this is part of an ongoing debate. The state of emergency is an immediate thing that allows for a reduction of some bureaucratic functions and some extra funding for processing and rescue and things like that. But the big debate in Italy and in Europe going on right now is trying to find a way to spread the burden, to have other countries helping to underwrite the cost and to settle some of the migrants who are landing on the Italian shores. The central Mediterranean route, as you alluded to earlier, is the largest one for migration from Africa. And I don't think there's any reason to think that's going to slow down, especially as the weather improves.
Yeah, and as you've pointed out, the current government in Italy is very anti-migrant. Italy wants more intervention by the EU, but other EU countries aren't as affected by migrant rates as Italy is. So there's not actually a great deal of consensus, is there, over what is the right approach to take?
That's absolutely correct. And Giorgia Meloni, who is the Italian prime minister, she became Italy's first female prime minister last year in October. And she was long in the opposition as a figure opposing open migration or trying to restrict it. Well, she is trying to rally support behind more restrictive anti-migrant laws or anti-refugee laws in the European Union. But so far, it's been an uphill battle. The European Council is going to meet in June, and this is going to be one of the main topics of conversation. But it's far from certain that they'll be able to reach some kind of a consensus.
Eric, good to get your thoughts there. Thank you for joining us. Eric Lyman there in Tunisia.
My pleasure.